Alright guys, so today we're going to look at the coordinate rules for reflections and rotations. So you're going to be using a program called Geogebra to manipulate a point or points for reflections and rotations, write down their coordinates, and just try and find out what the pattern is, and write it down on this paper right here. I gave you some space for plenty of examples. If you figure out the pattern earlier, you don't have to complete them all, but do a couple of each just to see what's going on. So if we look in Google Classroom, it's going to be coordinate rules for rotations and reflections. It'll have these two GeoGebra sites, this PDF, and whenever it's processed, this video will probably pop up right here. So let's go ahead and jump in to rotations. So you click on it, and here it is. So it starts off, we have 180-degree rotation, and this is our basic triangle. You can move the triangle around, and if you're not quite on the right point, it's not going to snap, but if you see right there what it did, it'll try and grab the points. That's what you want to do. Try and get some nice points. And I'm just going to get something a little closer. I don't know, something on this side. And I'll just show you how to work it. I'll go through one example of rotation, one example of reflection, and you should be able to pick it up from there. So if we look at our coordinates, B is at -1, 3, so I'm going to write that down. -1, 3. You'll be doing this on paper. C is at -3, 2. And finally, we have D at -2, 1. Now let's look at our image points. B prime, -3, -1. C prime is at -2, -3. And D prime is at -1, -2. So you could compare the B to the B prime, the C to the C prime. See if you find a pattern for the 90. Are we on 90? We're on 90, good. See if we can find a pattern for the 90-degree angle. And if not, well, move the triangle. Oops. And move it somewhere else. Maybe on an axis, maybe on 2 axes. See if you can find out some sort of patterns there. And then I believe that's where we had it. Let me double check. B was at -1, 3. Okay, right there. I'm going to go ahead and do the 180. So again, B has the same point, so I can just copy those and paste them here. You just write them again. You're welcome to use different coordinates for B, C, D, or the same ones, up to you. But I would try different locations, such as the axes, see what happens. Don't use the center of rotation, which has to be the origin for these rules to work. So you can move the center, but don't do it. Don't move the center. Keep it right here at 0, 0. We're trying to find out rules for 0, 0. The rules for any point are just terribly long and cumbersome. Don't worry about them. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. B prime is at 1, -3. That should be a comma. And I'm writing them as ordered pairs. Please do the same. 3, -2 for C prime. I can. Sorry. Have it. And D prime's at 2, -1. And then you do the 270. No, don't move the center. 270. It also has an option for 360, but come on, guys. We know what 360 is. It's everybody's got an order of 1 with an angle of 360 at least, so that's mapping back to itself. That's not interesting. It can't do a negative, and if we look on the sheet, it does have a place for -90 degrees. So I asked you right here, What angle is coterminal with -90? Remember what coterminal means? If you don't look back in your notes, and if you didn't write it down, remember me spinning in front of the classroom. Anyway, that's rotations. Let's just take a peek at the reflection real quick. Here, you'll notice Mikey put a 1 from the x and a -1 from the x. I didn't. I don't like it, but that does help you see your slope as 1 and -1. Remember back to algebra. But these are the 4 lines we can reflect across and easily have rules for. And they're pretty common lines anyway. So I'm going to close out the rotation, and I'm going to pop open the reflection. It already starts with some stuff happening. I'm just going to do one at a time. Again, I'm going to move my coordinate around. Probably don't want to put this on the axes because nothing's going to happen. It's going to be on the line of reflection. So don't put it on your line of reflection. Put it somewhere else. I'll put it at -5, no, -4, -2. Yeah, 42. X-axis, okay. So my ordered pair for A is -4, -2. And A prime on the x-axis is -4, +2. Let's check out the y-axis. So I have these separated. You can do 3 different A points on each of these tables. Again, you don't have to fill all this out. It's just for you to help you, give you somewhere to look and fill it out so you can figure out the rule, which you probably figured out by now, but that's okay. Don't move that. Done with the x-axis. Let's check out the y-axis. Okay, for -2. And again, I'm keeping this the same, so let me just fill that in. Let's check out y equals x line now. That is at -2, -4. And finally, y equals -x. That jumps way over here at +2, +4. So again, this is just a little activity to try and figure out those rules which you were supposed to learn like the 7th, 8th grade, but we all know how that goes. So your main goal, fill out this chart. That's what I want to see tomorrow. Well, not. You're watching this on Tuesday. It's already Tuesday. You're watching this on Tuesday, so I guess yeah, tomorrow. So tomorrow, Wednesday, whenever I come back, I'm gonna be looking at it. And then after you fill out this chart, use this chart to do these. So notice on some of them, you're given the pre-image. On others, you're given the image, so you're going to have to work backwards. Okay? The coordinate rules will work. Just have to think about them a little bit. Anyway, that's it. Message me on Google Classroom. I probably won't be available to answer tomorrow afternoon, but you can try anyway. That's about it. See ya.